Hey everybody, Spartan here from SpartanTrading.com. Want to hit you guys with a trade review video today and just talk about a few trades that I did today on October 7th, 2021. As you guys can see, that's the date. Anywho, so a couple different trades. The first one I want to talk about is this PALT, which was a small stock that I traded. I actually alerted on Twitter as well and got it in the room, all that. But I want to talk about the whole idea behind this trade, why I was looking at it, etc., etc. So I didn't see this on a scan or anything like this. This has been on my radar for the last couple days. Why it's been creating a flag pattern on the daily. Yesterday, they came out with a $50 million shelf. And what I noticed was the stock didn't sell off. Now, when I see bad news and a stock doesn't sell off, that's obviously bullish on the chart. Why? Because you're going to get short sellers that are in there shorting on that bearish news. But if it continues to hold up, obviously they're going to get squeezed out of that chart. Now, PALT was that situation where bad news came out and it had relative strength. So it was on my radar right out the gate. It started to push right away with a couple million shares. I ended up grabbing it long. And let's just take a look exactly. There, you can see it right there. So long around the 770 area. Sold a little bit into the first pop into like the 830s. Added back more at 877 full size. Sold some more into the 925, sold some into the peak height, which was around 1042, and then on the way back down, 992, and then that was the first initial trade. Now, this trade ended up being about 2 points to the upside, actually just under, I believe. It would be about, well, 778. Oh, yeah, so 2 points and change, almost $2.50, I should say. So, pretty good trade. Overall, the whole idea, I think, fairly simple. I'll talk about the actual trades that happened after intraday. The selling near the highs happened after the unhalt. It unhalted. Stock basically spiked to the upside. You started to see a whole bunch of sellers come in on the L2. Ended up exiting that position. Also on the 10-minute chart, I think it was extended. Let's just take a look. Yes, it was. Had an extension, pulled back to short-term EMA support, and then I was out of it. By the way, I trade on a 10-minute chart. I don't use a 1 minute or a 3 minute. I'm always looking at a 10. Now, in the afternoon, I saw this first flag, which was this downtrend break here. Ooh, let's do that again. So this first flag here, guys, downtrend break. Took it long on the downtrend break. Ended up selling most of it on that pop because I saw a large seller on the L2. So I grabbed it at, 977, sold a whole bunch at 903, actually the whole position. So I got in at 870 and then I sold at the 904. It's hard to see this level here. So I ended up selling most of it on that pop, or all of it. And then I ended up adding back on the PALT once it started to flag again. So flagged again. I actually grabbed a little bit before because it held that EMA support. Held the EMA support on the 10 minute. Started to flag. Let's actually look at that 10-minute chart. Started to flag on the 10-minute, added into it full size, added more. Now I'm going to flip back to that 1 minute just because you can't see it. And then basically I was selling into the pops. So sold into the pop there, pulled back, grabbed some more on the way up, and then I was just selling on the way up. And I actually added some at 950 on that break of the range there, intraday, and ended up selling all of it right after, just because, or not all of it, most of that add, plus my initial position right after because it failed to break. I had to stop at the 890 area, which ended up getting triggered all the way down at the 864 on the last 1/8 size. But overall, that little scalp was like 70 cents to the upside. Wasn't bad. Was a decent intraday scalp. The whole, the big position was really the morning, but overall, let's call it 3 points in total. So solid little trade on this PALT. I think I traded it pretty well. And then obviously at the end of the day, it just broke down and sold off. So that was that. Now, let's take a look at another trade that I did, which I want to talk about is this Ford. And now this is another one that I was talking to you guys on Twitter about. This is one, I mentioned it after we took it though. Obviously my guys come first. But anyways, we ended up taking the Ford long at 11 cents. I took a whole bunch of contracts, actually went huge on it. Because it's 11-cent contract, and Ford was breaking out on the daily, looked fantastic. A little bit of a flag break with room to this top of the range, which is basically that 1480 area. And essentially rode that up the whole day, just scaling out, added a little bit more back at the 34-cent area, and then ended up selling all of it 41, 43, 42, or 41, sorry. So all in all, a 300% trade on Ford. Not super complicated. Again, just a flag break, continuation to the upside there. Fairly easy trade. The last one I'll talk about is this JMIA, which was a small little option play. And again, this is one that I took some big size on. It was, let's look at this JMIA on the daily, breaking out off the lows. It was reclaiming short-term EMA support. Ended up getting into it a little bit late when it started to reclaim this EMA support. I figured, okay, it's probably got room towards that 50 EMA. Didn't end up getting there. Market obviously started to fizzle out at the end of the day, or middle of the day, I should say. It was pretty much pinned the entire day. But it was still a pretty good trade. Got in around 6 cents and added some more at 7 cents, so that's full size there. And then ended up selling it all at the 17-cent area and that 18-cent area. So about 100, let's call it 150%, 140% trade. Let's see exactly. I guess it's a little bit more, like 170%. But either way, small little stock, looking at basically cheap contracts to get in the money, which I figured they could get close to, or if not in the money. Didn't end up getting in the money, but still was a nice little trade off the lows. So, these little lotto positions like this, you can certainly go after them. You just need to look for room on the daily charts for that continuation pushes, especially when things are coming off the lows. So all in all, a couple different trades I wanted to go through with you guys. Not super complicated stuff. I think probably the biggest learning lesson is that PALT, and just recognizing that if bad news comes out and the stock's bullish, acts well, has relative strength, don't fight the trend, go with the trend. You're going to have people that are stuck on the other side, and that's the way you should always be thinking. Think about the other side of the trade. What are those people doing? Who's going to be on that side of the trade? Do you think there's going to be a lot of people too? Look at the volume that happened when that news has come out, or if it's just a momentum type move. Do you think people are shorting? Check how many borrows are available. If the move just began, there's no borrows, then that means people have tried to short the stock, or shorts have allocated all the borrows very quickly on it. So potentially they could get stuck in it if you see continuation momentum to the upside, and you can use that edge on your to your momentum bullish side by adding into the position on certain range breaks, looking for higher price targets because you think that there's going to be further momentum from those shorts covering, yada yada yada. So a couple different things there. Hopefully you guys learned something. If not, you can always watch some of the other videos. There's plenty of content that I've given you guys on YouTube. Otherwise, if you have any questions, guys, feel free to reach out, Spartan@spartantrading.com, or you can go to our website, spartantrading.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.